Joining us now is GOP Congressman Sean Duffy. Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. So the former speaker said it right there. So it's a slippery slope? I hope so. That's where Democrats want to go with this, right?
Yeah, this is no new surprise. This is incrementalism for Democrats. If they can just gradually take our gun rights away until the Second Amendment is gone, that is their mission. And we as Republicans, we as Second Amendment lovers know that, and that's why we're so resistant to the effort from the left. Now, if you look at bump stocks, we're not talking about guns. We're talking about a piece of equipment that takes a semi-automatic to an automatic weapon, and automatic weapons are banned. And that's why we can take that step with Democrats. But make no mistake, we all understand the game of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, you know, anytime a horrific incident like this happens, there are a couple of things that happens. We want to figure out what the motive is, absolutely, but also try to figure out how this can't happen again, and that's why it oftentimes goes to gun control. But what conversation should we be having right now? What conversation should we have had over the past week? What causes a person to wake up one morning and want to kill himself and as many other people as possible?
Listen, Abby, that's a great point. And, you know, it goes back to what's happening in our culture, what's happening in our families. And we have to look to a common theme through these horrific events. And this is where you have crowds that gather. And whether you have crowds and guns are used against these crowds, or you've seen in Europe where they'll use trucks, or at the Boston Marathon, they'll use pressure cookers. When you have people that are hell-bent on killing fellow citizens, there's a lot of tools at their disposal. And I don't hear Democrats talking about banning pressure cookers, knives, or automobiles, but they'll take a tragedy like this when people are still in the hospital fighting for their lives, and they'll use that to try to advance a political cause, which is to ban firearms. And I don't think they're looking at the broader issues here, which is what happens in society. How do we deal with mental illness? They just use this for political purposes, which I think is frankly incredibly sad.
Absolutely. A bump stock is a piece of equipment. Do you acknowledge that you seem to think that maybe that is the type of thing that could be banned? But what isn't that basically falling into their argument that, you know, we can solve this by passing one bill on a bump stock when the next attack could be something else?
Well, no, I don't think so, because I think, Pete, we understand that this isn't going to resolve the problem, but I think this is a step in saying we've banned automatic weapons, and this will transition a semi-automatic to an automatic, and therefore we'll take the step to ban it. So, no, I don't think we're falling into the argument. Again, we understand that this is incrementalism. This is baby steps for Democrats. And no matter what you give them, they'll never be satisfied until, again, the Second Amendment is gone. And they don't understand. You can come from San Francisco, like Nancy Pelosi, and think banning guns is a great idea, or New York City. But in places like where we come from, this is a way of life. People grow up using guns, respecting guns, knowing to use them, and we use them for really good purposes. We respect them, love them, and there's one last point. I know we got to go, but when you take firearms away from people, you take them away from law-abiding citizens.
Of course.
Evil people who want to do us harm, they'll always have a gun, and they take away our right to protect ourselves. This is Democrats saying the state should be the only one who can protect you. You can't protect yourself.
All right, Congressman, we've got to leave it there. Great to see you this morning.
Thanks. More Fox and Friends on the other side.